Hi. Oop. Hi there. Sorry, I will do this in English. Voy a estar haciendo esta transmisión en inglés, ¿sí? A cosas, a los de inglés. So I will be now explaining things in English, and then I will try to share it with everyone in the social media. It's really late here right now. It's like 10:30 in the evening, night. But of course, I don't have any light. So I'm trying to find the correct light. I'm not used to this. Okay, so sorry. It's I don't need to say anything, so it would be reflected. Well, if you have other people in English, please tell them that I am right now connected, or then you can share the video to all of them. And well, as I said today, I would explain to you a bit of everything that happened yesterday and the story of how I got here, how I got to be the one explaining all these things. So many of the people that follows me in English, I know that for sure doesn't know much about my story. So whatever I can explain about what happened yesterday would be really, really weird, because it would be a lot of information without any purpose or idea of why am I explaining all this. So before explaining the stories that I've been posting yesterday about something related to the loss of hope and me taking the hope back, I would like to first introduce myself to all the English speakers that maybe are following me since, I don't know, short period of time. Maybe because you've been following me through Gaia and watching the seasons that I did for Gaia. Of course, before I can explain many of the things that I usually do, I would like to explain some of the weird things that are bounded to my life. So I can introduce myself in a different way that I normally do, or the way that you normally know me. Of course, that for most of you, I'm explaining things about my memories, things about everything that I remember from my past lives, from other systems, from other levels of consciousness, from other dimensions. And of course, all this information that I'm sharing in those videos in English has been information to help you understand how the universe works, how the universe created us and stuff. But I'm not normally like that in my entire life. I'm normally more like a normal person in a weird way. And I would like to use this streaming this YouTube channel to explain about myself, to explain about my life, how do I work, all the weird things that I am doing constantly, my trips, my uh, my well, everything that I usually do in my life. So I know that there are many questions, and that there's a lot of information that I would need to share with you in English. But what I'm going to do in these videos in this channel would be to explain more like a diary, No, what it says. Yeah. Um, it's a diary where you write. Yeah. Um, so I will be like doing like something to explain my process, and through my process, through the things that I lived, try to help you understand a little bit more about maybe your own process. Uh, and one of the things that I was meant to do um, in in these times is to work with the I am, the project of I am, and and in order to do that, in order to work with the I am, I need to be um, I need to be coherent. I need to be transparent. So I must explain everything about myself. I must explain everything about how do I feel, from where my information comes from, how was my life, so you could understand better what is my purpose, what do I do, and how do I feel, and all these things. And this is because in the next months, mostly the next year, constantly, I will be doing these connections to recreate the network of consciousness in the planet, something that I have been set to do since I was a child. So this 2020 and 2021 will be these 2 years to accomplish my part of my mission in this planet. So something that I have to do in this period is to work with that consciousness and to be the axis, the anchor of all that information in Egypt. So in order for me to do that, to represent the anchor of that consciousness, of that work that I'm going to do in Egypt, which is connected to all of you, to all the people that will work with me in this, I would need to show myself as I am, as my truth, as who I am as a person, so I could be really represented everyone from my truth, and not just because I am a spiritual guy going and doing meditations, but because we need to be really represented by the coherent, so we can work as a team in different levels of consciousness. So that is why I decided this past days, this past week, that I would have to use this YouTube channel to share with you everything that is within me, my story, everything that I am feeling. So you could know, could share, could understand, and could maybe help you also to be connected to the work that I'm going to do. So so I would like to make a little bit of resume of everything that I am, but not like in an interview. I would like introduce myself as a person, as a yeah, as a normal person that works with all this information, and how has been my process to become who I am and to do the job that I'm going to do in this next month. So, in order for you to share this and not only think that I am doing uh, videos of my memories in some platform or whatever, I would like to open myself so I can share this, because from the moment I am going to be in Egypt, I will try to do, I don't know if daily, but maybe uh, every week, some video to tell you how it's going to be the process, how do I feel, how it was to work that day, how do I feel the information. I will share some information with you also. So it will be kind of a personal conversation. I will use the other channel, the RCM Foundation channel, to give the information, specific information of the work. So whenever we have to do some work like focus, concentrated, and we need to do, like, I don't know, this meditation at this time, we need to work with that information, we need to know this in order to do that, all this information that is encoded, that is straight for the job that we are going to do with the I Am project. I will be doing it in the RCM Foundation channel. But through my own channel, which is this one, my personal channel, I will be sharing all my weirdness. I will be sharing my person, talking to you like a friend, I guess, or like a weirdo, I don't know, whatever. But I will try to be myself, so I can just explain you all the things that brought me here. And the reason why I decided to do this is because the reason I'm doing this is because yesterday I lost hope, and yeah, it's kind of weird, but so yesterday I lost hope in everything that I do, in everything that I am going to do, all my goals, all my purpose, my missions, everything that I am, I am, I am doing, and I will do. I'm still doing it because I have Capricorn rising so in my chart, so so I need to work and have purpose and do it. So I'm still working on it, but basically, I felt like there's no reason to do anything. Like, that's it, you know. And one of the things that I've been experiencing these past 2 weeks was the real feeling of being a real human. And what does it mean? Usually, since I was born, I was different, of course, because I could remember everything that I've done. So I was in touch with beings in another dimension. I was connected to other beings, to other realities, and I understood the reality in a very different way from other people. So I always knew, even if I was lost, I always knew my purpose, the mission, everything. Like, yeah, I know what I have to do. Even the years, I know what I have to do in 2012, in 2020. I had, like, even the day of my death. It's like, so even if I was able to be lost, I always had the map in my head of everything that I had done, I am doing, and I will do. So as I was growing up, I was I was getting more human, of course, because I needed to. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to speak with you and to tell all my stories and my memories. Um, so, so I was becoming more and more human, and suddenly I realized the past 2 weeks that I was an adult, and I was scared because I normally everything that I do is because I feel like a kid. I am still like a child inside. Um, I have to be honest. I don't like to be an adult. I like to be a kid. I like to play. I need emotion of how to say this emotion um, in I don't remember the name of the emotion, but uh, anyway. So what I was I need to feel like this energy of feeling like a kid, like playing with life. And suddenly um, I found myself uh, feeling like if I was not doing that. I was not playing like a kid. I was working like an adult. I had work to do. I had many things to do, and I was like taking my mission like an adult. And suddenly, I was like kind of afraid because it was like I'm not used to this, and and I don't want to lose that feelings of being a child and and to live like a kid, playing. So I kind of lost the hope of everything that I do because I suddenly, as an adult, I felt that everything that I have done in my life was like a fairy tale, like if I was playing and not working, like if I was doing something magic and not something real. And suddenly it was like, I'm not doing what I was supposed to do. I'm doing what I was supposed to do as an adult, like grounding all these concepts and working for society, working for education, working for I don't know, whatever. So I always, since I was a child, I was thinking of working in society. My goal, my mission is to work with politics, with economics, with all these things, and suddenly I was like lost on that. Like if I lost all this time doing spiritual things when I was really willing to work for society and all the systems. So as I said, to be honest, I work with spirituality, but not because I am into spirituality. Um, I I am working in spirituality and all these things explaining about the universe and that, but not because I like it. It's because just I remember it and because I feel it, because I am that. I remember who I am. I remember from where I come from. I remember the dimensions, the universe, my story. I have all these memories from the past. Um, but but suddenly it was like all these memories that I had from the past was like um, it's my own reality. It's my life. It's is what I am. So I want to do another thing, something new, and something new for me is society, is education, is working in something that really changed people's life, but in something practical, not mental or spiritual. So, uh, to be honest, I don't really like spirituality. I don't really like explain about aliens. Even if most of you know me because you are watching my seasons in Gaia, and I'm explaining about all these things of aliens and stuff, is because I remember it, but not because I am into it. It's not because I like to explain that, or I'm willing to. So all of you know about all these things, like um, I don't really care about that. So what I would love to do is to work in society, is to work with practical things to change people's life. And sadly, my whole life, because I was that, brought me into spirituality, and I am working with that because it's the thing I know, is the thing that is natural for me. So, so the thing was that this year I'm gonna be 33 years old in August, and suddenly this quarantine that I have been living, that we all have been living, um, was like uh, I am 33 years old and I have been living in a spiritual reality constantly, and I have no idea how to manifest that into matter. I have no idea how to be practical in society with all these concepts. So suddenly I felt maybe I've been losing my time. I've been doing something that I never wanted to do, even though it's the thing that I feel comfortable with, because I'm doing this because I love it, because I naturally I'm that. Um, but it's like usually maybe most of you wants to remember, and I didn't ask to remember. I just remember. I just remember, and because it's natural for me. But I usually fight with my guides because I don't want to do most of the things that I am supposed to do, even though I, in another level of consciousness, said to them that they have to push me in order to do that. Okay, so I could do my purpose, to work with my purpose. So what what happened in my whole life is being like constantly magic. It's being constantly science, constantly talking with different um, uh, beings in different dimensions. For me was the natural thing. For me was the normal thing. For all the people that knows me, that doesn't that sorry that for most of the people that doesn't know me, I must say that um, uh, I I I was born in a house in Argentina where all my family was agnostic. So there was no religion involved, no philosophy involved in any kind. Um, but I was born watching and seeing those beings that were around me, that for me were my family. So they were talking to me, and you know, and explaining me things about life, saying me that I have chosen to born there. I have chosen everything that I'm going um, uh, to live, to do. Uh, so since I was 3 years old, they started to teach me how to understand how to be, how to love them unconditionally, how to understand and accept the process of evolution, how to educate humans and learn about them. And of course, they told me, my guides told me, um, you need to be, how to say, you need to be, um, how do you say it? Sorry, I'm losing the I'm losing the point in English. Um, that you need to be like a human. You need to understand how a human works. You need to become a human and think like a human in order to explain your memories to the humans. And first of all, recognize that you are a human. So so all my childhood was a normal childhood with my friends, my family, normal childhood, but also with all these friends from other dimensions that were teaching me about many stuff. So as I was growing up, the guides, the messengers, um, they they start to come from higher level of dimensions, and they start to tell me about my mission. And they said that my mission was to reconnect the network of consciousness. They told me that I have come here to remember and connect the world, because it was something that I have forgotten to do in another time. So so I started to remember everything that I have done in those other lives. I started to remember 12,000 years ago, started to remember 1,000 years ago, many lives, not only in this planet, but other planets too. That's why I know some stuff about the aliens and some of the stories that our ancestors used to tell us, to explain to us in the past. And I start to remember that since I was 11, 12 years old. And all this information was telling me about my purpose in this life, going to the planet, going to every spot on the planet, connecting. And when I was 12 years old, I've been told by my guides, you have to talk with a lot of people, a lot of people. And I was afraid. I had no idea how to talk. I have no idea how to speak with people. Of course, I was 12 years old. I was really scared about that mission, and they said the moment you have to do so is 2012. So that's why I I went to uh, my mission was that year mostly. So I was really scared about how I'm going to do that. So I decided to study education to help people like me, to help kids like me that were remembering, that were feeling, and that had no idea how to handle it. So I decided to study education because of that, because I wanted to help people to live heaven on earth, how to bring that into practical things. And I wanted to become an educator, and I did in such a way because I'm explaining stuff. So, but not kids, to adults. So I my mission turned into education, and so I learned how to speak to people, how to explain in an I think in an easier way all the concept of the universe. Um, uh, so that's why I started to do everything, my videos, my conferences, workshops around the world, because people were calling me to explain my vision of the universe. So as I said, it was not because I wanted to, I was brought to. that. I never I never looked into all this information. I was never I never considered myself as a spiritual person. Um, uh, I was a spirit living as a person. So I knew stuff about spirit. Um, I knew stuff about all these things of the cosmos because it was the natural thing for me. But I was not into it. So I start to explain people how to understand the reality, how to understand the universe. But suddenly my guides came and said, you cannot do practical stuff until you work by yourself the concept of the divine. So they sent me to do my spiritual path around the planet 2012. I started to be more, instead of explaining much in workshops, I started to do, how to say, to do, I started to do path around the world, working around the world with nature, with the nodes of the planet, um, going around the planet, explaining people in public. The first things that I did was to make public gatherings in squares in every city, uh, trying to talk to people about our goal as humans in the planet Earth and so on, and creating these movements around the planet about consciousness. And everything was about to reconnect the network. Everything was about to connect everything. So so i i started to do all this. And around 2000, 2012, I traveled through 40 countries around the world. And and I went uh, to the 7 continents, and I was receiving information about everything that I was supposed to do in these next years. And the last message I received in 2012 was December 21st, 2012, that um, I was in Antarctica. Yeah, I was in Antarctica that day. I will tell the stories, not today, but I will explain all the stories. And I went to Antarctica, and I received information of the next step, which was Roma Amor, making Rome into love. And so I went to the Vatican. We did all the activation uh, in the Vatican and so on. And by doing that, I started to recognize that the job that I had to do was to try to heal the past and the future constantly, by activating the spots around the planet. And and so after this, in 2014, I decided to create a project in order to work with the society, because I was willing to. I was feeling and seeing, watching in, like, in another dimension, myself doing political things and educational things, social things in Argentina, in my country. So I saw myself doing that since I was a kid. So every time that I was doing something spiritual, I felt that I was going away from that reality. But I still kept going because my guides told me, you have to keep going. So Suddenly, suddenly I was sent to suddenly I was sent to make my own path around the world, to try to practice myself, to understand myself, to understand the concepts of myself, and to reconnect with who I really are and my purpose. So in 2015, um, in 2015, I was I was brought to the States because of the Congress. I did a Congress in Miami, and when I've been there, I received information through through a woman that was there that I had to be in June 21st. I had to be in Lake Titicaca in Peru, and uh, well, next week will be 5 years of that. Uh, so yeah, 21st, June 21st. So I will be. It's been 5 years from that. So that week I was said you have to go to Peru, and I said I can't because I was doing another things. I was working in the States, and suddenly everything was canceled in the States, and a friend took me to Peru. So the universe took me like you have to go to Lake Titicaca. So I went there, and I received information there uh, that South America, the countries of South America, would need to receive the information of the new world. And in order to do that, I was not supposed to work in South America until that moment. I was supposed to work in the reflection of South America until I was able to come back and do my job, supposedly. So, so the information was that in order to do so, I had to go to Egypt. So I was in Peru, and the information was you have to go to Egypt. And I said, when? Well, you have to go to Egypt for your birthday, 5 years ago, for your birthday. And I said, no, no. I had been that time. I had been two like 2 times in Egypt. I'd been 2 times in Egypt, and I had the worst experiences ever in Egypt at that time. So I said I won't spend my birthday in Egypt because I really care about my birthday. I love to celebrate my birthday. I'm a Leo, so of course I need to be, you know. So I need to celebrate my birthday, and going to a place that I felt really bad every time I went there. No way. So I said, no, I deny, and I went back home in Argentina, and I had fever, like 41 degrees fever, and it was like dying, and everything that I could see during my delusions in that moment was was that the pyramids was Egypt, constantly Egypt, and so I decided, okay, I have to go, but I had no money, I had no way to go. So a friend of mine, I told this story that happened, and she bought me the ticket to go to Egypt. So I went to Egypt for my birthday, and it was a really good experience, of course. But I had the best experience in Egypt that moment, and I had all this good connection with the River Nile, and I had this opportunity to be alone in the pyramid for 2 hours in the morning. Being there for the first time inside the pyramid like that with other three friends, we started to sing we had no idea why we were singing, but suddenly the singing started to come, and the masters appeared in the center of the pyramid, in the chamber. We were dark; it was everything dark, and the singings. You can seek for, you can watch it. This is in YouTube. We recorded it. It's the name is 888 Kios, the name of the pyramid. So you have the video there, and you can hear the 45 minutes of recordings that we did there. So while I was there, and all the singings and voices, and suddenly the these beings came. They started to explain me about the network, how it worked, where are the nodes, where how it is created, and what I was supposed to work with. And suddenly another master came and said, the only way you can activate it, you can activate this, is by saying I am. And so he started to say I am in every language, and repeating it, and the vibration of the I am. And suddenly I was connected to the concept of I am, and they downloaded information about the concept of I am and told me, you have to do this, and go there and there. So sadly, the project I am started because of that. And the project I am is to reconnect the whole network of consciousness around the planet. Is to connect every node of the planet saying I am. And the meaning of this is that we have the planet is a sphere and has all these different dots around, like the different concepts around, and they are connected to just one spot in the core. So this only spot in the core is the concept of I am, and all the others are the different aspects of the self. So so they said to me, the moment you have to, this was 5 years ago, the moment you have to do that will be 2020. I had no idea why it was that year, but it was okay. I said okay. So then they said, because it's a code, the code is 2020, yeah, but mostly February 2nd 2020. So it is a number that replicates. Okay, you can read it from one point to another. Okay, from like this. I don't know how to say in English. I don't know it. So you can. It's like a palindrome. Okay. So so this date represents number 8, which is the portal of time. So it means that in 2020, the portals of time would be open, and in 2022 would be the portals of space. So now we have to open the portals of time, so we could be all connected, okay, through time. That means the memories from the past, the memories from the future, and the present must be all connected. So they said this network must be connected in between those 2 days. Those 2 days is February 2nd, 2020, and February 22nd, 2022. So these are the 2 dates in between I have to do this connection. But the thing is that they told me that until August, the trip would be stopped, and that I had to stay home. And I had no idea that it was because of a virus. I had no idea about all this thing that was supposed to go to, that is going on right now. I was like, some of my guides in November last year told me about a virus going around the planet, but I thought it was something that I had to do, to bring like a structure of a virus in every every part of the planet, because this structure of this virus is the one that protects humans from bacteria. So so I thought, okay, maybe it's that what they are saying. So all this information that I was receiving brought me here to France, and I had to stay here uh, um, to prepare myself before the trip. So suddenly, because of all these things about the coronavirus, I'm not able to travel, and most of the places I was supposed to go were canceled. So all this project I've been working for since 5 years ago, it's not possible to do it now. So suddenly I felt like disappointed, because as a person, as a friend, I can say, wouldn't you be so disappointed that the people you work with from other dimensions um, wouldn't say to you 5 years before that this is going to happen? It's like you can see the future, and you always tell me about the future. Why you didn't tell me about what is going to happen, and that the trip was not going to be able to be done? So they said because you have to do another thing. The Even if the coronavirus is true or not, it was really good for humanity and the planet, because we were meant to be at home along all this process. And the reason why we had to be at home all this process um, uh, is because um, uh, is because the the North Pole, the magnetical North Pole, is moving. Yeah, is moving around. So this year, 2020, is the first time that the North Pole physical and the magnetical North Pole, they are aligned at the same spot. Normally, the North Pole, magnetical North Pole, is in Canada, in the islands of Canada, and now it's like this, and now it's aligned here and crossing from the west to the east, the meridian. Okay, it's going to the east. So because of this movement to the east, the whole consciousness of the planet is switching, is changing. So us, the humans, which are the species that represents the consciousness of the planet, are also switching our way of thinking. So during that period of time, we needed to be locked. We needed to be at home. We needed to experience a different way and rethink a new humanity. So this will bring bad things and good things. The bad things, we all know, all this control, blah, 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 etc. I won't get into that. And of course, the good things is thousands of people rethinking the way they live, rethinking the way of the system. So so it's good. Of course it's good. But suddenly, personally, what I felt was like, so I have been prepared to do this trip around the world, looking for people to pay the trip. It's a really expensive trip, I must say. And suddenly, all the people that were supposed to finance it, all the people that were supposed to help me with this disappear. All the people that were supposed to go with me in the trip, all the people, no, all the the places that I was supposed to go, um, canceled, like nothing, void. So I was like, mm, so what do I have to do? I was like lost. I was like nonsense. Um, and I said, did I lost of this time, all this time, just because it was like a kid's dream? Like I was trying to nourish, um, to nourish this inner child with all this magical things. So I went yesterday. I went to the park around here, and I was like working, even though, but also thinking about this, about nothing makes sense. So so suddenly how do you say? Suddenly I thought about something that I usually think about, that maybe it's weird or maybe it's not, I don't know. But people used to say me, people doesn't usually think about that. But every time that I see a tree that I love, I would love to be buried in that tree. Like, oh, when I die, I would love to become that tree. When I die, I would love to become that tree. So I always think about death, about being dying, about dying, and after my death to be buried in a tree that I like. So I was sitting on a tree and I said, "Oh, I would love to be dead here." And suddenly I saw another tree and I said, "But that tree is better. I love that tree too." It's like, so where am I supposed to die? So I was thinking about that, and suddenly I said, "No, maybe I have to be in 12 trees around the world. Maybe if I cannot do it now alive, maybe I can do it dead." So maybe if I cannot connect the 12 spots of the planet alive because of all these things happening, maybe I will do it dead. So I said, maybe I should be burned, and my ashes must be buried in 12 different trees around the planet, in the 12 faces of the planet, and then as a tree I would do a proper work. Who knows? So that was my thought. And while I was thinking about that, I heard the peacock, and so I walked um, towards the sound of the peacock, and when I saw it, it was all white, completely white. It was albine, and it was like, wow. So what is this? So suddenly I felt within me that all this all these beings from higher levels of dimensions that usually watch me, um, were watching me at that moment, because the peacock, has all these eyes, but they represent the god, the creation. Usually that bird represents the creation. And and of course, if it's white, it's because it's the most pure dimension. So it's like, I don't know, seventh dimension. So it's higher level beings. And it was just spinning and suddenly watching at me and with all these eyes. And I was like, what is this? They are trying to say something. And suddenly I was listening music, and one of the songs that suddenly appeared in that moment was Palms. And the one of the part of the lyrics says something like, where was the lyric? I think I have it here. No, I don't. So, oh, so this what part of the lyrics is like something like, I am your no, you are my sunlight. You are my sunlight, in my you are the sunlight in my bones. I was thinking about dead bodies. You are the sunlight in my bones, and uh, at the moment when I lose hope, something like that, when I lose hope, and and the last sentence said, "I'm not lonely when I am alone." So it was like, wow. So they are watching me. I am here. I am being watched. It's like, mm-hmm. Okay. So suddenly I felt like they were there, and the picker just came by me and went by my side, and I just turned myself, and he just went straight in front of me to a fountain that was the trunk of a tree with the hand of a human coming from the tree holding the world. So it was like too obvious, like, oh my god, this is too much for a sign. It's like everything. And the picket just went into a portal. There was a portal of, I don't know, stone there in between the trees, nothing else. And it was like, whoa. So the portal. So they said to me, you have to go through the portal. Don't worry, we are here. We know that you are having these problems, but we are here. I mean, nowhere in the world I would walk around thinking about this, and suddenly a white albine peacock would open just in front of me and and show me the portal, the world, the trunk with the hand. So everything that I was thinking about, and it was like, okay. So that made me strength to come back home and buy the ticket to Egypt, because I didn't. I was like, I don't know if I have to go or not. I don't know. So I bought the ticket to Egypt, and because the message was you have to go to Egypt and stay there and make all this project from Egypt, because it's the line. So um, so I bought the ticket, and suddenly a friend of mine called me and started to ask me stuff about Argentina. And one of the things that she told me about Argentina was, she asked me, was, why are you going to Egypt so long? Shouldn't you be in Argentina? Um, and I have to be how do you say, honest with this. I'm not feeling home in Argentina. I don't feel home in Argentina. It's the place I was born, of course, but I don't feel home there. For me, is the planet. The planet is my home. I feel comfortable in the planet. So it's not like, oh, I have to go back to Argentina. No, for me, it's like, it's my job. I decided to be born there because my mission is there, but my mission is with the world. No, it's not with Argentina. So I said, well, in order to work and to have my mission in Argentina, first I have to be in Egypt, because Egypt will send the information about how to do it properly, with the spine of the world, with the connection of the whole network. Everything, okay, will be received in Egypt, and the whole network of consciousness is aligned with Egypt, not with Argentina. So I need to work there and then bring that information to the south. So bringing Egypt to Argentina. And suddenly came up one of these informations. Uh, Maybe you haven't heard about it, but there was a prophet in Argentina. Prophet, it says, like, yeah, doing prophecies in Argentina. His name was Parravicini. And if someone can write it there, can write the name for the people to look for it. So there is this person in early 19th century, no, early 20th century, that he made a lot of prophecies about everything that is happening right now in the world. Well, right now in the story, in the history, um, and this person, Benjamin Solari Parravicini, that's the name. He was uh, he talked about Egypt in Argentina. So we started to talk about all the signs of bringing Egypt to Argentina and blah blah blah, and and uh, and suddenly I said maybe we have to follow this path of his prophecies to understand the next step. So I will do a resume of this because it's too many things. Maybe some other day I will I will explain every detail of everything. But this is where I want to go. I'm Argentinian. That's why I speak so much, and I just speak and blah 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 blah. And I'm not going to the point. Sorry. The universe decided for me to be Italian descendant in Argentina, so I speak a lot and I go to the branches constantly. So maybe if the universe wanted me to be really focused on what I was saying, maybe they would, I don't know, decided for me to be Canadian or English or Norwegian, but no, I'm Latin. So the thing is, maybe it's because I came to tell stories and blah blah blah. So the thing is that that all this we started to, well, in my head I started to follow the signs of Paravicini, and I connected somehow. Long story, but I connected somehow the lines to another prophecy of Paravicini, which is a new lighthouse will be enlightened in Neuquén. Neuquén is a south province of Argentina in Patagonia, and one of the prophecies said that there would be a light there, like saying that it is the time for a new world to come. Okay, so so I was like connecting those dots, and one of the things that I discovered there was that that this year, December 14th, 2020, is the year is the day of an eclipse that go through that region. It's a very important eclipse that will affect South America, mostly Argentina, and this eclipse will go. The image of the eclipse is in the video. Then, so it goes through Neuquén and Rio Negro, which are the two provinces where the eclipse will be. And in the core of that, there was a code. I was following the code of 13 because everything that I was like watching around was the number 13. Yesterday was day 13. We were 13 people in Egypt working with the nodes of the planet and the axis of the planet, myself in the middle and 12 around with another, and 13. And then I said about an important day that I had a connection in the past, which was also day 13. And suddenly, when I was looking about the movement of the eclipse through Argentina, I saw that the most important spot and time of the eclipse was at 13 hours, 13 minutes. So it was like, wait, so there's something here really important that I have to see. So what does it mean? So suddenly, when I went to the spot of the very eclipse in Argentina that day, 2020, 14 December this year. It's a small place called La Esperanza, which means the hope. Yeah, in Spanish. Esperanza, hope. So I said, this morning I lost hope. And suddenly, the eclipse that shows me that this light will go like a lighthouse in Neuquén, showing the path in the 1313, is telling me about that spot. And suddenly, I remember something that changed everything in my mind. And that's why I wanted to share all these things. And that's also the reason why I started to do these videos explaining all these things. And it is because a few years ago, I wrote a story, which the name of the story is I Am, in Spanish, Yo Soy. And the story is like a novel, like, how to say, it's fiction. There's mix of fiction and truth, but I put it together to create the story because I said, if nobody believes what I'm saying, at least it would be a story. I don't know. So maybe people could enjoy it even if they don't believe in it. So I put it in a story, okay, and I created a bit of a I created it like a bit of a fiction. So this story begins with me in the future, with 87 years old, in a parallel reality in which I remember too, like in this life, but I was afraid of saying everything that I remember. Like I was like, I want to work with society, politics, and change the reality of these countries and Argentina and blah, blah, blah. Everything that I wanted to do, everything that as you remember, I said, everything that I see myself doing, that I want to do. And in this story, I explained that I didn't say that to anyone, that I decided to shut up and not say it to anyone because I was afraid being treated like a crazy guy and like nobody would take me for serious, you know. So maybe if I would say that everything that I know I was remembering from another life, maybe people would say this person cannot be in charge of anything because he's crazy. So in this fiction story, I decided to shut up and work in society and politics. But I was 87 years old, and I had Alzheimer because I was given the gift of remembering and I didn't use it. So I, in the other hand, got ill with forgetting everything. So this is the story I was writing. And suddenly I was afraid, as an old guy, I was afraid that that maybe I have to tell somebody that I'm everything that I remembered and not dying like that. But I was saying, but I'm forgetting, so I have to hear it. So I invited my grandsons in that parallel reality, and I talked to my younger grandson, that I was giving him a heritage, like This is yours. I want to give you this for myself because I am forgetting everything and I need you to remember. And the only way I can help you is by dying. If I die, I will help you. But if I don't die, I would be useful. No, uh, useless. Sorry, I would be useless. So, so I give to him the keys to remember, and I say to him that he needs to go to Egypt, not directly, but he needs to go to Egypt to to understand everything. So, so I leave. No, they leave, and my grandson in the story, my grandson's name is Pewen. And Pehuen is the sacred tree of Patagonia, which is in Neuquén, the region of the lighthouse. So, so I give it to him because for me it's the light that will show, okay, that will show the path to follow. And this so he started to try to look for, to understand what I gave to him. Is a box with some codes inside, but I don't know how to open it. And he had to discover, it's part of the story, you know. Someday it will be in English, maybe you will write it. You will read it, sorry, you will read it. So I won't get in details, but the thing that I want to talk about is my death. So 87 years old, I give that legacy to my child, to my grandsons, and then my son, their father, he came back to Argentina after a trip I sent him to, and he doesn't find me. And suddenly someone says to him, he has gone to the south, to Patagonia. Why? I don't know. So look for him. So in the story that I wrote like years ago, and then I took it back to make a story, to keep following the story. He goes to this region where the eclipse will be. And the place I choose to die is La Esperanza, the hope, in that region, in the same spot where this year will be the eye of the eclipse, of the solar eclipse. And suddenly it's getting weird here, because I had no idea why I chose this place when I was writing. No idea. And suddenly I saw La Esperanza, and in my book it's written like that, is La Esperanza and Rio Negro is the place. So when I went back to read the book and to see what I wrote there in that paragraph, myself with 87 years old in that parallel reality wrote something like, I will try to translate it. My son says, "Dad, what are you here?" And I said, I came here to die. And say, why you came here to die? And I say, because I wanted to remember myself something, to leave myself a note so I don't forget it. So he said, I have come here to leave me a message, something that in my experience of my being could be deeply rooted in my own self. So I never forget it, never. I have come here because we are in the center of the gestation of the life. This is the root of mother. I'm talking about the Argentina. This is the root of the mother. And the strength it has to create, to transform, to unite, to love, uh, brought me here to this spot that we call the hope, Esperanza. And with that meaning, an inevitable rebirthing. So I want to remember myself that even though all the things that are going to happen, all the things that even through the pass of time, even with depression, the fear, frustration, and defeats, there is still hope. And there is a part of the creation that is willing to keep us like on our feet, that pushes to go through the darkness, enlightening our path with the heart. And that thing made me realize that that suddenly it was not something I wrote because I was inventing it. Because the next part of the stories, I will spoiler alert, spoiler alert everywhere. So the thing is that once I was writing the story, then the meaning of the story is that I had to correct a problem that I did during my life. And the problem that I did in my life was not to talk about all this, not to speak about what I remember, what I feel, my truth, but try to be accepted by the others, trying to be like the others. And 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 I wanted to leave myself a message through my death that in a parallel reality, I had to do it differently, that I was trying to do it differently. So I will have the same goal, but in a different way. I have to try it. That's why I said here, we need to try it again. I need to try it in a different way. So, so in the story, what happens after that is that my grandson reached to understand what is in the box and use the tools that are in the box to talk with aliens in another levels of consciousness, and those aliens help him to talk with the past. So with the people 12,000 years ago and with the people 12,000 years ahead, with the people in this time, they connect to reach a specific date and year where they can tell me how to do that balancing in the planet. And that date is 2020. So suddenly, the eclipse that it's in 2020 goes exactly in the 1313, that code, to the spot where I'm supposed to die in a different reality. So what was that blew my mind yesterday, which was the day 13, what just blew my mind was that it's the first time that instead of myself receiving information from the past, I received information from the future. And the message from the future was not about technology and society, it was about don't lose hope. Because we can do it. Because after this comes the good things. So don't screw it up before. so 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 because of that, I said, okay, I understand now. And suddenly myself from the future gave me a message, a very clear message through my own death, and and uh, and told me, don't stop, even if it doesn't make sense now, it will make sense soon. So just go to Egypt, stay there, anchor that energy, and from the future you will receive the next information. So not from the past, but from the future. And I was like, suddenly, I was like that. This is amazing. So the thing what I am doing this video basically is because um, the key that myself in the future told me to myself in the past is don't keep nothing to yourself. Say everything. Just be coherent and be clear, and try to explain as much as you can about everything that you feel that is happening to you, because in order to be the anchor of that in Egypt every day, I have to be like transparent to everyone that is going to be holding this energy with me. So you. So I will try every day, or maybe someday not, someday yes, to do these videos in Spanish and in English, and explain everything that is happening, and explain everything that I'm feeling, everything that happens. That I don't usually do that. I usually keep everything to me, and to myself. And this would also help us to be aligned, because the most powerful energy is emotion. So if I'm not sharing what I have within, we cannot work together. And that's why also I know that most of you have known me about these videos that I explain, that I have answers, and I explain about the universe and blah blah blah. But I will do that, of course, because I can do it. I will explain about many of these concepts every day while I am in Egypt. I will make a chat about every concept every day. But for me, the most important thing is this: is to share what I feel, what is happening to me, is to share you about the science, about all this. Okay, so this is it. So myself from the future told me to tell you everything that I feel, and to tell you everything that I'm going to do, everything that I have done. So maybe when I am in Egypt, I will explain to you all the stories from my childhood, everything that happened to me, so you can know me better. Because, of course, to trust someone that will do a connection of the planet, you need to trust him. So that's why I will try to be as much as transparent as I can, so you can trust my work there, and so we can work all together. So, well, I hope I didn't bore you with all this nonsense, talking constantly and going through the branches. And I will try to practice more my English, so I can speak faster and not thinking about the words I'm saying. And sometimes maybe my accent will change from Argentinian to American to British, because I don't usually know who is going to talk through me, and or my soul sometimes loves more the British. So don't think that I am just being weird. It's just that maybe sometimes I switch accents, like in Spain too. I speak like Spanish and sometimes Argentinian. So um, I will be speaking weird sometimes. And so I will try to um, do more videos explaining more things. And of course, at the moment I arrive to Egypt, I will be speaking constantly, and you will get bored of me. So even more, this birthday, I will be Pisces rising Pisces rises. How do you say in English? I don't know how it says, but I will be Pisces as and rising. So of course, I will be more excited to share with you all my emotions and to be with you, helping the whole world and blah blah blah. But also crying. So for sure you will have a lot of videos with me like crying and thinking that I will die. But anyway, don't pay attention to that. Just take the information, not the emotion. And well, say that. Remember that next week, next Sunday, 7 days ahead, after the eclipse, I will be, if I survive to it, I will be doing I will be doing a video in Spanish first, then in English, explaining how we are going to work every day in Egypt, okay, through social media. So this is to share, to talk about nonsense, and then I will be in RCM Foundation channel in 7 days, 21st, June 21st, to explain specifically what are going to be the jobs that we are going to help in this next year. And when I say next year, I am saying the last week of July, because for me the year ends last week of July and begins last week of July. So that's the new year. So okay, that's it. I guess I hope you don't get lost in all these things. Maybe you have to listen it maybe some more times, and we keep in touch. And you will be my confessors during a year. Oh my god. Okay. My old guy from the future says thank you, and the present guy says I hope. Okay. See you, and hope to see you soon in the next transmission. See you next week. Bye.